I was trying to be real vague about it, but that party traumatized me.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
I don't throw the typical Hollywood extra uptight party.
People are walking around, this corner this got going on, this corner they over here doing this corner they over there having.
So, we get loose, we dance a little bit.
They'd be like, we having a party tonight, but this ain't your kind of party. You'd be like, yeah, I ain't going. I don't want to go.
And they're in the pool. And they're drinking mimosas in the pool, but then it's like a waitress walking around giving people drinks, just passing people drinks.
So when you get up, they'd be like, don't touch them bottles right there and only drink them bottles right there. So we already knew what the drill was. You just don't mess with them bottles.
And that's why they lock up our phones, because they know what we see in there, he can get in trouble.
It's sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little but yeah.
Ever heard of Diddy's infamous freak-off parties? Well, the shocking truth behind these wild, secret gatherings is finally out, and it's way darker than anyone imagined. Diddy's facing serious charges, and what really went down at these parties is something that you never would have imagined. So, Diddy has been this massive figure in the music industry for more than 3 decades, right? He helped launch some of the biggest names in hip-hop, and on the surface, that's what most people know him for. But what's crazy is that his influence didn't stop at music. It turns out that Diddy wasn't just known for making hits, but also for throwing some of the most insane parties the music world has ever seen. We're talking about those exclusive, star-studded events like his famous all-white parties that everybody seemed to want an invite to. Those were all over the news, full of celebrities, luxury, and glamour. But as we dig deeper, there's this other side to it all that was hidden from the spotlight, something way more sinister, something that wasn't in the tabloids. Now, let's just go back to where it all started. Back in the late 90s, Diddy came up with his famous all-white parties. These were industry events, unlike anything else, where the rules were simple but exclusive. First off, anyone attending had to be ready to have a good time and no bad vibes were allowed. Second, you had to be connected, part of that inner circle of celebrities who were all over the music and entertainment scene. And the third rule, you had to show up in all white clothing. Everything from the outfits to the decor was strictly white, creating this luxurious, almost otherworldly atmosphere. These parties quickly became the place to be, attracting some of the biggest names in the industry. We're talking A-list celebrities from every corner of the entertainment world, all gathering in one place for what was supposed to be a night of fun and freedom. The first few parties were hosted in the Hamptons, one of the most exclusive spots you can think of. Eventually, they moved to other high-end locations, with Diddy handpicking each venue to match the vibe he was going for. The whole thing was about more than just showing off wealth and status, though. Diddy had a deeper idea behind it. He claimed the all-white dress code wasn't just a fashion statement, it was a way to level the playing field. By putting everyone in the same color, he aimed to strip away the usual barriers of image, status, and ego that come with celebrity culture. It didn't matter if you were a superstar or just someone with the right connections. At these parties, everyone was equal, or at least that's what Diddy wanted people to think. But here's where it starts to get interesting. While on the surface these parties seemed like innocent fun, with everyone just letting loose in an exclusive all-white wonderland, there were whispers that not everything was as perfect as it seemed. The carefully curated image of breaking down barriers and bringing people together was, for some, just a cover for what was really going on behind the scenes. The first of Diddy's iconic all-white parties took place over Labor Day weekend on September 7th, 1998 in East Hampton, New York. Diddy invited about 200 guests, turning his New Hampton home into the hottest spot for the industry's elite. The guest list was a who's who of hip-hop, R&B, and Hollywood royalty. It was clear from the start that these parties weren't just for fun, they were a power move, boosting Diddy's profile and cementing his place as not just a music mogul, but a cultural figurehead. While the all-white parties looked fancy and classy, there was a darker side to them. Behind the glitz and glam, something troubling was happening. While everyone admired Diddy's glamorous parties, not many knew about the disturbing after-hours events known as the freak-off parties. These after-parties were completely different from the highly publicized gatherings and were not something Diddy wanted the world to know about. The freak-off parties were definitely on a different level, wild, secretive, and full of things that are now at the center of some serious legal trouble for Diddy. It's been reported that after the main event, certain guests stayed behind for after-hours gatherings that were fueled with and involved exploitative activities. But here's where it gets really dark. The prosecution claims these weren't just wild parties, but rather coercive and abusive situations. The accusations laid out in the indictment are pretty shocking. It's not just rumors or gossip, but serious allegations about a whole operation Diddy supposedly built over the years using his power and influence. The 14-page legal document outlines how he allegedly used threats and manipulation to force people, especially women, into doing things they didn't agree to. This goes way beyond what people thought was happening at these parties. The charges are not just about partying, they include trafficking, forced labor, and even kidnapping. For years, Diddy's status in the music industry supposedly gave him the power to keep these freak-off parties going without anyone stopping him. What might seem like crazy tabloid gossip, baby oil and wild parties actually has a much darker side. According to the legal case, these parties were described as long marathons, and if the prosecution's claims were accurate, they were not consensual. Diddy allegedly had a whole system set up, using his employees and connections to pull people into these situations, leveraging his influence to make it happen. This wasn't just a one-time deal. The allegations suggest it was a planned operation that went on for years, with Diddy at the center of it all. It's claimed that Diddy would bring women into his circle by making them think they were entering a romantic relationship, but things quickly turned dark. Once they were under his control, it's said that he used threats and pressure to get them involved in his notorious freak-off parties. These weren't short gatherings either. They'd go on for days, involving several people at once, both men and women. What's even more unsettling is that Diddy allegedly recorded everything without their knowledge, using the footage as a way to manipulate and control them. Were reportedly a big part of these parties. It said that Diddy provided plenty of them to keep the victims in check, making them more submissive and easier to control. After these intense parties, the victims were given IV fluids to help them recover from the exhaustion and use that they'd been subjected to. And the whole thing didn't just happen by chance. Diddy's entire team was allegedly involved in making sure these events ran smoothly, from booking hotel rooms to stocking them up with everything from baby oil. His staff took care of all the details, including cleaning up afterward to hide what had gone on. The team also arranged travel for the victims and made sure that everything was prepared for the next freak-off. They were always ready to restock whatever was needed, like IV fluids and more supplies. In March 2024, police searched Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami and found some alarming supplies tied to his alleged activities. Reports say Diddy had a team that handled everything for him, including paying workers in cash sent across the country. He just needed to show up, and the exploitation would start. Freak-off parties were reportedly filled with violence. Diddy is accused of physically assaulting his victims, kicking them, throwing things at them, and dragging them by their hair. These attacks led to sometimes took weeks to heal. If any victim resisted his demands, they were threatened regarding their careers, making them feel like they had no choice but to go along with what Diddy wanted. The fear of physical and emotional was constant, as Diddy supposedly used recordings of these encounters to keep them silent. Diddy's alleged criminal network included security staff who sometimes carried for intimidation. It said that Diddy himself would flash weapons to scare his victims, creating a tense atmosphere. During the searches, police found several firearms, including 3 AR-15s with altered serial numbers, which were believed to be used for intimidation. Anyone who tried to flee was allegedly tracked down by Diddy's staff. Employees who questioned his authority faced threats of physical violence. The whole situation created a scary environment where silence was enforced through intimidation and fear. In late 2023, after serious allegations about Diddy's behavior came to light, especially from his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, his reputation took a hit. As negative stories spread, it said that Diddy's team pressured the alleged victims and witnesses to stay quiet. They were reportedly bribed and told not to share their experiences with the police or to create false stories about what happened. Now it seems Diddy's time is running out. He's currently incarcerated, and the government has started a thorough investigation into his life to reveal the dark truths behind his actions and what his victims went through. Now, what do you think? Do drop your thoughts in the comment section below. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We'll be back with another one pretty soon.